What's going on, guys? Welcome to Proper MMA. My name is Gabe, and today we're going to be discussing my breakdown and prediction for the main event of UFC 303 this Saturday, International Fight Week. Alex Pereira defending his light heavyweight belt against Jiri Prochazka in the rematch. Now, initial thoughts on this fight. I hate that this fight is on short notice. This is such a legendary fight between two just mythical fighters. I mean, when does a guy like Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka come around? Not very often. So we really need to appreciate these guys while they're you know, in their peak, in their prime, in the UFC. And Jiri, he's gained a title shot, which I think he deserves. I mean, Magomed Ankalaev technically should be the next one in line, but his resume is pretty bad compared to Jiri. So I don't mind this, especially I think on short notice for International Fight Week, I think this is definitely the right fight to make. It's an extremely compelling matchup, but I just hate that it's on short notice. I wish that everyone had the fair camp, 8-week camp and whatnot. Just pains me it's on short notice. And then at the end of the video, we'll get into the co-main event, Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega being at lightweight. But first, we'll start with the main event. So initial thoughts. Let's go through the skill sets of both men. You have Alex Pereira, one of the most legendary kickboxers to ever step foot in the UFC, and one of the most legendary kickboxers ever. I mean, 2 titles simultaneously in Glory. He didn't get 2 titles simultaneously in UFC, but still, middleweight champion, loses to Israel Adesanya, beats Jan Blachowicz, gets the title from Jiri, knocks out salty man Jamal Hill. So Alex Pereira has just done wonderful things, really solidified himself as a Hall of Famer and as a legend of the game. In a lot of ways, he's the most beloved fighter on the roster right now. He's a star. And I don't know how big his drawing power is. Like, I don't know the pay-per-views he does. But at the end of the day, who doesn't want to watch Alex Pereira fight? I mean, he's amazing. Legit mythical warrior. And that's why this matchup is so compelling, because you have the technical kickboxer in Alex Pereira with some of the greatest leg kicks I've ever seen in my life, with the left hook of God, or the left hook of death, honestly. I think that's a better description, because it just kills people. It is insane. And then you have Jiri Prochazka, who is another, I mean, you got Jiri Prochazka saying that Alex Pereira is doing dark magic. I mean, he's talking about dark magic, and I feel like Yuri's the only type of dude who could say that and not look like a complete idiot. I mean, I don't know if he's being 100% serious on that, but whatever floats Yuri's boat is fine with me, because when you fight like that, you can say whatever you want, and I'm cool with it. But the dark magic stuff is pretty funny. And, when you look at Jiri Prochazka's game, absolute savage. Absolute savage. That's the perfect description of his game. Insane power. Has decent grappling. Swings like a wild man. Extremely unorthodox style. His hands are like down below all the time. And it's hard. He flusters you because you don't know where these shots are coming. You look at him striking, you're thinking, this guy looks like he's about to get cracked in the face all the time, which he does at a lot of times, to be fair. But the way he strikes and the way he can confuse his component and shut down his opponent even, we'll get into how I think he kind of shut down Alex Pereira in their first fight a little bit, before he lost. His angles of where his shots are coming from are so unorthodox, he's basically impossible to train for. I mean, what sparring partners are you bringing in that fight like Jiri Prochazka? No, but nobody. I mean, they're going to have to be in a cave or a dark house for 3 weeks to be fighting like Jiri Prochazka, whatever he's doing in there. No food, no phone, no electricity, no talking outside world. Dude, just in a cavern for 3 weeks in darkness. I don't know if it's 3 weeks, but you get my point. That man is he's a medieval mythical warrior essentially, and he fights like one, he lives his life like one, and he's always in the gym. And I think that's where he's going to have a big advantage in this fight, is because Alex Pereira, he was doing stuff for sponsors, I'm pretty sure. He was having a good time, coming off a great win at UFC 300, starching Jamal Hill, who, I mean, is there a more salty man on this planet than Jamal Hill? I mean, when he's dreaming, he's just dreaming of pounds of salt. That's all he's dreaming about. I mean, I think he released a new 40-minute video talking about how Pereira was a dirty fighter, Herb Dean screwing him over. Dude's a clown. I think he's a really entertaining fighter. He's an absolute clown, and that's just a fact. I hope we get to see a rematch between him and Alex, but Jamal needs to go get maybe a win or two before that. Um, but back to the first fight. So when we look at the first round, Alex starts just destroying Yuri with leg kicks, kind of similar to what Rakic was doing with him. And a lot of fights, Yuri's leg kicks are just there. They're there on a platter, and especially when you have such an excellent kicker who doesn't telegraph his kicks at all. He doesn't move when he kicks. He just kicks. It's impossible to tell when they're coming. So when you combine that with Yuri's legs always being there to be hit, it's just it's not a good matchup in that case for Jiri. But Alex starts off destroying his legs, and then Jiri gets a takedown. And I think it's kind of a similar thing with the takedowns when people fight Alex Pereira. Bruno Silva, I'm pretty sure he got his first career takedown against Alex Pereira. Israel Adesanya, first career takedown against Alex Pereira. I mean, Israel Adesanya was looking like Khabib Nurmagomedov against Alex Pereira. It was not a good look for him. Andreas Michailidis, who I think went 1-3 in the UFC, absolute can. I know he got starched out cold by Alex Pereira with that knee at the beginning of the second round, but he's taking him down. And that's, we'll get into why I think that's a little worrisome in this fight for Alex Pereira. But first round, Jiri takes him down like basically everyone has been able to. And Alex Pereira is able to get back up to the feet, but it's mainly because Jiri's prioritizing damage over control. And I think if Jiri Prochazka just wanted to lay on Alex Pereira there and hit him with a couple shots, here and there, Alex Pereira would have continued looking like a fish out of water on the ground, and he would have stayed there for the entire round. But because Jiri was trying to do damage, because that's what Jiri does, Alex Pereira was able to get back up. And then Jiri had a solid ending to that round. And then we get to the second round. Jiri really starts to have a little, a great deal of success on the feet, I'd say. He hit Pereira with some pretty hard shots, and he was winning that round. I think all three judges scored the first round for him, and he was looking good that round. I remember watching this live. When you have a guy with godly power like Jiri, every time, he's throwing a punch at you or he hits you, I just assume that the guy's going out. I mean, you saw what he did to Volkan Oezdemir. Only guy to put Volkan Oezdemir out, and he put him out cold. Like, that was a brutal knockout right there. So Jiri, the threat he poses on the feet and the way that he was kind of making Alex Pereira flustered. Alex Pereira was, doing his thing, swinging a lot, but he wasn't hitting anything. Even though Jiri's head is right there to be hit, he wasn't hitting him. And I fully believe that is because Jiri is so unorthodox and he's so weird with his striking and the angles he strikes at. And it's a total contrast to an absolute technical beast like Alex Pereira, where I think he was like, holy shit. What the fuck do I do here? What am I supposed to do here against this guy? And obviously, Jiri was winning the round till he wasn't, and Alex Pereira catches him with the left hook of death, drops him, not terribly badly, but he drops him, and just starts, just elbowing the side of his head viciously, just like what, maybe 10 times. Jiri his arms kind of like go out a bit, and then he kind of recovers a bit, and they fall over, and then Marc Goddard stops the fight. Let's all be honest. That was maybe horrific's too strong, but it was not a good stoppage, especially for a title fight, and especially when you have a guy like Jiri Prochazka, who I, as I said, thinks that, Pereira's doing dark magic. This is a man who he will will his way through anything. He is just that type of human being. And you saw that in the Rakic fight when he was getting destroyed in that first round and just imposed his will after taking as much damage, if not more, in that first round against Rakic than Pereira really kind of ever did to him, I guess. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly true, but you get the point. The point is, Jiri can take a ton of damage and recover and go out and impose his will on you and absolutely beat the shit out of you. And I wish we kind of got to see that. And obviously, if Jiri got back up, Alex is definitely going to be a bit in control. He's going to be rushing forward. He's going to be going for that left hook again, maybe a knee to the body. And I would have probably assumed that Alex would have eventually got the finish. But who knows? Jiri Prochazka, he's one of those fighters that you just can never count out because his mentality is so strong that he can knock you out at any time, at any point in the fight, even if he's badly hurt. So I wish we got to see that fight go. I wish we got to see it go a little longer. I think Marc Goddard, thank God he's not Reffing this next fight's Herb Dean, which I think is a better ref for this type of fight. But at the end of the day, Alex Pereira gets the win, becomes a light heavyweight champion, really solidifies his entire, just with that win, he solidifies his legacy in the UFC. So now we kind of get to my prediction here. This, I'm going to be honest, this was not an easy fight for me to pick. Not at all. I went back and forth so many times. And when I look at Alex Pereira, I've been a big Alex Pereira fan. I've picked him his last 4 fights. I picked him to upset Israel Adesanya. I thought he was going to TKO him in the second fight. Obviously, he kind of forgot how what defense was in that second round of that second fight, and he paid for it. And I think obviously he's learned a lot from that. I don't see him doing that again in his career. And then I picked him against Jan Blachowicz. I was actually at that fight live, and that was an awesome fight. Super close fight. Jan was saying that he wanted to test his stand-up and then shoots for a takedown 10 seconds in. The fans in Salt Lake City that night were not happy about that. That's all I'm going to tell you. But, it's like in all these fights with Alex Pereira, he's getting taken down. He's getting taken down. As I said, he's getting taken down by a can like Andreas Michailidis. He's getting taken down by Bruno Silva, who I don't think Bruno Silva's a can, but I think it was his first career takedown. He's getting taken down by Israel Adesanya, making Israel Adesanya look like a better grappler than Islam. And then he's getting taken down by Jan Blachowicz, who I feel like some people think Jan Blachowicz is known for his grappling, but he's not. He's not known for his grappling at all. Obviously, he's decent at it, but we saw what Magomed Ankalaev did to him, and Magomed Ankalaev is more of a striker than a grappler. I know he's from Dagestan. He has that the reputation follows those fighters, and Ankalaev obviously has good grappling, but he's a striker. He's a striker. And so, and I look at, what Magomed did to Jan, and I look what Jan was doing to Pereira on the ground, just taking him down basically whenever he wanted to outside of the third round. And Jiri was taking him down whenever he tried to. And that's why I think Jamal Hill is such an idiot and a moron, because he didn't shoot for one takedown. Like, why would he fight Alex Pereira? Why would he fight this great, unbelievable Hall of Fame level kickboxer? You're not trying to tire him out against the clinch. You're not trying to take him down. Now, Jamal Hill was like, oh, let's go strike of him. I personally don't get it. And that's what I'm a little worried about for Jiri. But I do think Jiri will mix up the clinch a lot, and he will go for takedowns. And he showed that in his last fight. And as I said, he was having success in that second round before he wasn't. Before a little bit of an early stoppage. But at the end of the day, Alex Pereira, that left hook, it just does things to people that are just unnatural. Let's just say that. That's how good of a shot it is. Oh, man. This is such a tough fight to pick. My whole philosophy of Pereira and why I picked him in the last 4 fights is that my philosophy has been, you cannot stand with this man. You can't stand with him. He's too good at kickboxing. His leg kicks are too good. His power in both hands, especially his left hook, is too good. His IQ's too good. And he's huge. He's making Jamal Hill look small. I don't know how he made 185. I don't know. But part of me, I look at that. Jiri Prochazka, when he got the call to take this fight on, I think 16 days notice, instantly, he was like, yep, let's do it. Because Jiri's always in the gym. Alex Pereira, rightfully so, by the way. He was chilling. He was vibing with his boys, with his family, going to Australia, having a great time, eating well. Don't blame him at all. Just got, as I said, just got a great win on one of the biggest cards ever at UFC 300. And, I heard that Alex Pereira took a little longer to accept the fight. And ironically, he has, I think, 2 broken toes, and McGregor pulled out with a broken pinky toe. So that's kind of funny right there. But another reason why I might pick the way I think I'm going to pick is that part of me I have a gut feeling that these 2 fighters are going to fight for a third time, that this is going to be a trilogy. And the only way that happens if Prochazka wins. And I just think this is going to be a trilogy. Having these types of fighters, these high-level, just mythical elite strikers, like a Jiri Prochazka, like Alex Pereira, to me, it's calling for a trilogy fight. So that is why I am picking Jiri Prochazka to win the light heavyweight title by 3rd round brutal knockout. I think that he's going to tire out Alex Pereira in the first 2 rounds. And I think the only way Alex Pereira wins this fight is in the first 2 rounds. I think he's going to start fatiguing, especially if Jiri Prochazka mixes in the grappling, is clinching up with him constantly. We saw Alex Pereira get tired after the Israel Adesanya grappling. In Salt Lake City, everyone was kind of getting tired, but as I said, he also got tired. It's at altitude, so a little bit of a pass for that. But still, I think Yuri Prochazka is gonna, his legs are gonna get, beat up a bit, obviously. That's just how he fights. Hopefully he makes some adjustments. I need him to for this pick, I think. And I think he will, because he knows that if he loses this fight, and Alex Pereira is the champ for another year, let's say, he's never gained a title shot again, which sucks. It'd be a real shame. He's never gained a title shot, so he needs to win this. On top of that, on top of the fact that he needs to win this more than Pereira does, he took the fight immediately. He's more well-rounded than Alex Pereira. I believe, as I said, he's going to mix in the grappling. He's going to mix in clinch work. He's going to have some success on the feet. He's going to tire out Alex Pereira. And in the third round, Alex Pereira is going to show some fatigue. His power is still going to be there because we saw, he was tired in that fifth round against Adesanya, and he, once again, a bit of an early stoppage, but still, he TKO'd Israel Adesanya. So even tired, Alex Pereira is extremely deadly. But I believe in the third round, it's going to turn into a bit of a war. Just, the wars where, blood everywhere, those types of UFC wars. Not just a real intense striking match, real wars. Like Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka. What a great fight that was. And in a war, how can you not pick Jiri Prochazka? If you think this fight's going to be a war, Jiri Prochazka is the man. He's more well-rounded. He's not going to respect, if Alex Pereira shows signs of fatigue, he's not going to respect the power coming back from Pereira, which who knows, that could be his downfall. But in a war, Jiri Prochazka, I trust him to get the job done more than Alex Pereira. And I think part of me really sees him getting close to Pereira, hitting him with a hard shot, and then, this is what I'm predicting. I'm not just predicting brutal knockout in the third round. I'm predicting spinning elbow knockout in the third round. I think he gets close to him, clips him with a shot. Alex Pereira's a little bit dazed, kind of defending himself, but doesn't, as combine this with the unorthodox style from Jiri Prochazka, Jiri Prochazka does what he did to Dominic Reyes, Alex Pereira, and knocks him out and flatlines him. And obviously, I'm decently confident Jiri Prochazka KOs him in the third round. He might not do a spinning elbow, but that's my official, if I had to go the full detailed prediction, that is it right there. Spinning elbow, brutal knockout in the third round after Alex Pereira was unsuccessful, knocking him out in the first two rounds, and he's starting to fatigue. Jiri Prochazka is not going to respect his power, and he's just going to make this fight into a war. And there's no way I'm picking against Jiri Prochazka, especially when I think he's healthier. I know he took a lot of damage in his Rakic fight, but the fact that he said yes right away, and the fact that he's always in the gym while Alex Pereira is off doing other stuff, as he should. He wasn't expecting the fight on this. This was supposed to be McGregor versus Chandler. Now, Chandler's going to go wait another 10 years for the fight because he's an idiot. He's a total fucking idiot. But, oh my God. Goddamn Chandler. Oh my. His video of him walking through the forest and stuff, coping about the Conor, that dude is mentally broken. But that is, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. But Alex Pereira, my gut feeling is that this is going to go to a trilogy. And I think it's going to go to a trilogy because Jiri Prochazka tires him out and brutally starches him in that third round. And I think that trilogy fight's going to be unbelievable. I think Alex Pereira is going to totally deserve a rematch, especially when you have two fighters that fight like this. You got to run a trilogy, obviously. There's no question about that. So, yeah, official prediction. Jiri Prochazka creates a war in the third round after fatiguing Alex Pereira, and he brutally KOs him with a spinning back fist or spinning elbow like he did against Dominic Reyes. Now, getting into the co-main event. Once again, short notice fight. I hate short notice fights. Creates an asterisk on all, on everything. I wasn't prepared. I was hurt. Blah, blah, blah. Anything. Any excuse, it seems a little more valid when it's on short notice. And that's just a fact right there. Because you didn't have an 8-week camp to properly cut weight, to properly train and be the best version of yourself. It's just not the case. So these fighters aren't going to be at their highest level, which I hate because we want the best versus the best. But it's short notice regardless. It is what it is. But this fight just took an even worse turn. Not only is it short notice, but Ortega, he confirmed that he was going to be fighting up at lightweight at the Sphere, which I don't really understand why he'd be making a move up to lightweight. Maybe he doesn't want to cut the weight anymore, but he just got a good win. I don't really know, to be honest. But regardless, he was bulking up to be a lightweight. I don't know who he was fighting. That would have been an interesting matchup to see. But he's bulking up, and now on 16 days notice, they're like, Dana's like, hey, Brian, you got to cut back down to 145. And I get it. He couldn't do it. I get it. And now he's fighting Diego Lopez, who also looked like he was having a rough weight cut, all these guys probably should on 16 days notice. Now the fight's at 155, and it's still a great fight. Matchups make fights, and this is a great matchup. But the fact that not only is on short notice, but the fact that it's at lightweight, don't get me wrong, a win for either guy is impressive because they're both fighting at lightweight, but this is the co-main event. This is a fight that is huge for these guys, especially if Diego Lopez goes out and starches Brian Ortega. He could be fighting for the title soon. Probably one more fight because you got Max fighting for it, and then you got to give Volk another chance at it. So he's probably fighting one more time, but still, who knows? What if Max has to pull out Diego Lopez in for the title shot? I just hate that it's at lightweight. Part of me wants to be like, just cancel the fight. But obviously, I still want to see the fight. I don't want to get canceled. These guys have trained, for the last 16 days. It is what it is. So don't cancel the fight. But part of me wouldn't be that mad if it did. Because this fight, in a way, it's almost useless. If Diego Lopez starches Ortega, it's still a great win. A win's a win. A win is a win. But it's not even in his division. Not even in the division that he fights in. It's really disappointed that this didn't happen. And I'm not mad at, by the way, if it seems like I'm subtly trying to shit on Brian Ortega, I am not at all. It's not his fault. He was preparing for a lightweight fight at, I think UFC 306 is the Sphere. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was preparing for a lightweight fight there. And now, he's tasked to, fight at 145 on 16 days notice. It's not his fault. And props to Lopez for agreeing to fight at 155. These two are, these guys are motherfuckers, and they're beasts for stepping on short notice and being willing to fight at 155. But as I said, it's just the fact that this isn't at featherweight really, really makes the card take a bit of a hit, and it makes the fight less impactful, especially for, if Diego Lopez KOs or gets the win, him being in title contention. Obviously, if he gets the win, he's probably still one fight away. So I guess it doesn't change it too much, but all I'm going to say is that I think the perception of Diego Lopez would be a lot, actually, maybe that's not the word, but we would think his win's a lot more impressive if he did it in the weight class he fights in than at lightweight. I guess that's the best way to put it. His win would mean a lot more at featherweight than at lightweight, where he doesn't even fight in. And Brian Ortega, I guess now maybe is fighting at lightweight, but it doesn't matter. This fight needs to be at featherweight. It's not Brian Ortega's fault. It's just the circumstance. Guy was probably trying to cut 30 pounds in 16 days. I can't imagine how brutal that is. If not more, who knows? So, who knows how long he's been bulking up to lightweight. So, just brutal, disappointing news on the card, or for the co-main event. And, it is what it is. What are we going to do about it? But, as I said, for my main event prediction, Jiri Prochazka KOs Alex Pereira in the third round after tiring him out and bringing Alex Pereira into a war that Jiri knows he's confident he can win. That's my official prediction. And then, we're going to get a trilogy after this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I crazy for going against Pereira? I've picked him the last 4 times. Call me crazy if I am, but I just have a feeling, I got a gut feeling that this is going to be a trilogy fight, or a trilogy fight's going to happen. And that's why I think Jiri Prochazka is going to get this done. So thank you so much for listening, guys. You have a good one.